I think that's going to be a really tough case to make, considering Trump's polls are in the toilet, and he spent the last 2 weeks attacking the Pope, pretending to be Jesus, pretending he didn't pretend to be Jesus, and then telling Americans that they couldn't have childcare because we had to fight more wars. And if that's the Trump you want to focus on, I don't think that's going to work out for Republicans.
Look, as far as
at all.
I don't get. I'm still lost. I'm still lost on how, even 35%. I don't understand how you can still support at this point. Like, at this point, you have decided, like I've said in a previous video, it's ego, right? Like, you've decided to stick it to the libs at any cost. This is your guy, and you're just hoping that he wins so you can be proven right, even though everything to the contrary is happening. But you don't want, because at this point, how many years has it been, right? So we're going on like 10 years since Trump entered politics. It's been that many years of you supporting this man and people telling you were being conned. So yeah, like you're like, nope, not being conned. You'll see all this time that I was right all this time. And so yeah, no matter what, you can't say you can't say you're off the bandwagon. You can't say he's done you wrong. So that's that group of people that would still support him. And yeah, I guess if you have Trump out on the campaign, you keep those people and you try and win the rest back with new faces and new policy. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand how you could be that far gone. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Trey.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Back at it with another video.
Another one.
And first and foremost, thanks to everybody that's been subscribing to the channel. Obviously, I'm a new YouTuber, so it really means a lot. It's helping me grow. But let me know what y'all are liking, what y'all don't like, what you would like to see also. Today we're going to be reacting to a video from Midas Touch. It's Francis Maxwell, and he's kind of, talking about the situation with Jessica Tarlov under fire from Trump about some comments that she made, in reference to, just the administration, the economy, she's on the 5. So obviously she said something, he didn't like it. So he came after her, started attacking her. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video.
Everything going on in the world, Donald Trump continued his world boards with the Pope, insulted Epstein sexual assault survivors.
The First Lady last week called on Congress to further look into and uncover the truth on the Epstein files, the Epstein saga. Do you believe that there should be a public hearing for more of these Epstein survivors?
Well, I'm okay with it. I think we've had a lot of public hearings. I'm okay with it, but I understand that the women didn't want to go under oath. That's what I heard, that the women, the victims or whatever, they refused to go under oath, which was a little surprising. So Melania felt strongly about it because she was accused of that I met her through Epstein, but it turned out to be totally false. It was a false story.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying.
And of course, took aim at Fox News' Jessica Tarlov for daring to point out how dire his approval rating is at this moment.
We just say the same thing every day on that. Kellyanne brings up this tax refund. The $375 on average that you got back, which is compared to the $740 extra dollars that you're going to pay at the pump because of the increase in gas prices. You also said the economy was so terrible under the Biden administration. More jobs were created. GDP growth was better. Donald Trump was elected.
Why did they lose?
What?
Why did they lose?
Because it wasn't good enough. And guess what? Now it's even worse. Donald Trump is over -30 on cost of living, -28 on taxes. And the difference between Kamala Harris talking about the gas prices and the collective burden we all bear to help out our friends is that Americans actually supported what we were doing vis-a-vis the Ukrainians. 71% after the Russian invasion said we should provide weapons. Even today, 69% view the war as important to U.S. interests. That's the Russia-Ukraine war, not the war in Iran right now, which has over 50% disapproval. The other important point to that is that President Biden and Kamala Harris actually got congressional approval for the money that they sent to Ukraine. They didn't just say, I'm going to do what I want. They actually went and they asked people who are elected by us to go into office, what do you think about this? And it was approved. And they were part of a coalition.
And it's not executive orders. Like I said, I have a lot of conservative people in my, the office that I work in, family members, things of that nature. It's a mess, man. And I, get so frustrated having these conversations, these talks and stuff like that. Whereas, when you're talking about, the economy, right? They'll bring up the fact that, Trump's getting a lot of stuff done, and he's getting it all done via executive orders. And executive orders, that's not how you're supposed to govern. That is not how the government is supposed to work, right? You're supposed to, legislative branch is supposed to draft the bills and then, pass it, and the Trump approves it, right? So, I'm just a bill, right? But, everybody's like, oh, he's getting so much done. These are executive orders. They don't mean anything. That's the reason why a lot of them are like back and forth through court, whether or not they're constitutional. Oh, comes to find out that he doesn't have this power. It's like, it's ridiculous, man. So yeah, touting, different executive orders as like these big wins. Guess what? Like the next person in office can just go through and tear it up. And then it's a mess. This is not the way that government is supposed to operate.
Didn't just say, I'm going to do what I want. They actually went and they asked people who are elected by us to go into office, what do you think about this? And it was approved. And they were part of a coalition of over 50 countries that sent aid and weapons to the Ukrainians. That's how it's supposed to work. There's checks and balances. It doesn't matter how it's going.
Okay, good.
What do you mean? Actually, how it is going well? Yes.
And see how they just tried to derail, like Gutfeld, whatever the fuck his name is, trying to derail talking about Ukraine. She's talking about the economy. She's talking about how government is supposed to work. She brought up Ukraine just to say like that is how they went about it. They went to Congress. Congress voted on it. They supported it. So again, him bringing it up is like trying to derail it with, oh yeah, that's going so crazy. What? We're at war in another country. What do you expect? Like, is it Biden's fault that the war in Ukraine isn't going well right now? Or is it the current go? At what point does the current government have to answer that question? Like, how are you going to ask her the question? Ask Trump. Ask the fucking Mike Johnson. Like, what? I hate that dude.
Well, first of all, there's a strong
we've
argument.
extended this war for 4 years.
I know you don't care about it. You should take a look, by the way, on what
paying for it.
This
Trump
is funny.
did that. Trump did that. Wait, I can't believe you're defending Biden and Harris.
I am,
Democrats don't want to hear from them evermore. So you want her to be the nominee in 2020?
No,
but the
twisting of what I was saying is crazy, Kellyanne. I did not say I want Kamala Harris to be the nominee. I said that the argument that you're making against the Biden-Harris administration falls flat when you look at what the Trump administration is doing.
I'm going to look at the fact that Trump got elected on running against the Biden-Harris economy.
And what do people think of him now? He has a 35% approval rating in most polls.
After the Fox commentator cited Trump's 35% approval rating, Trump responded in a lengthy social media post doing what he does best, which is insulting women. He called her one of the least attractive and talented people on television. He didn't dispute the numbers with data or plans to try and turn this ship around. He instead attacked her appearance, her voice, and demanded that she be removed from the network because that's perfectly normal, right? Just imagine Joe Biden coming out here and attacking Fox News conservative host and demanding they be took off air. It's hard to imagine, right?
Put it, but over $4 for gas. His approval rating in now every poll that we've seen this week is in the 30s. We're not even talking about the low 40s. The CNN poll, he's minus 24 with men, minus 2 with white voters who don't have a college degree, minus 17 with seniors, and 65% say that his policies are making their economic conditions worse. That is unsustainable. Not even if you're thinking about a midterm. You just can't go through the rest of an administration like that.
But what's likely getting under that orange coat of makeup is that these poll numbers are very much real. And no, Americans aren't buying that everything is Joe Biden's fault. Around 35% overall approval is correct.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how long can you keep that up? How long can you keep saying Biden? How long can you keep blaming the previous administration? Like, they're always willing to go like previous administration, 2 administrations before. Like, we're still talking about Obama stuff. Like, this is insane.
Across numerous polls, and even lower, he's at around 31% on the economy. So instead of addressing the substance, he of course attacks the messenger.
Trump, and I don't say this to attack the president, right? But Trump is a wildly polarizing figure, right? People really, really like him, and people really, really hate him. Democrats, in their stump speech, they're out in person, they're campaigning. They're getting the benefit of running against Trump. As Annalise said, President Trump is a proven vote getter when he's on the ballot. So the solution for Republicans, and this always drives Democrats crazy when I say this, is actually more Trump on the campaign trail. What? Republicans have to be convinced that this is a referendum on President Trump. Independents have to be convinced it's a referendum on President Trump. And that once the Democrats, if they take the House, it will be the end of essentially any possibility of the Trump agenda going forward.
I think that's going to be a really tough case to make, considering Trump's polls are in the toilet, and he spent the last 2 weeks attacking the Pope, pretending to be Jesus, pretending he didn't pretend to be Jesus, and then telling Americans that they couldn't have childcare because we had to fight more wars. And if that's the Trump you want to focus on, I don't think that's going to work out for Republicans.
Look, as far as
at all.
Yeah, I don't get. I'm still lost. I'm still lost on how, even 35%. I don't understand how you can still support at this point. Like, at this point, you have decided, like I've said in a previous video, it's ego, right? Like, you've decided to stick it to the libs at any cost. This is your guy, and you're just hoping that he wins so you could be proven right, even though everything to the contrary is happening. But you don't want, because at this point, how many years has it been, right? So we're going on like 10 years since Trump entered politics. It's been that many years of you supporting this man and people telling you were being conned. So yeah, like, you're like, nope, not being conned. You'll see all this time that I was right all this time. And so yeah, no matter what, you can't say you can't say you're off the bandwagon. You can't say he's done you wrong. So that's that group of people that would still support him. And yeah, I guess if you have Trump out on the campaign, you keep those people and you try and win the rest back with new faces and new policy. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand how you could be that far gone.
What did we see this week in New Jersey? In New Jersey 11, a progressive Democrat who won a primary against a center-left Democrat won by 20 points in what is, for as long as I can remember, been an even 50-50 district.
No,
20 points.
Mikey Sherrill won.
So it's not just lack of
Republicans got 40%, 42%, and 40% in that race the last 3 elections. It's not a 50-50 district. I do not think NJ11 is indicative of any. Look, there are headwinds out there.
Take all of the Florida election.
New Jersey 11 is not one of them.
Who won the Palm Beach?
Latest poll out today latest poll this week had Trump still at 88% in his base. That's better than President Biden was. It's better than a lot of presidents before him.
And it's not isolated. Trump has actually attacked her on numerous occasions and attacked multiple Fox News hosts for daring to poll correctly. And he called for critics to be taken off the air, lashed out at conservative figures even like Tucker Carlson and others who dared to turn on him over his Iran war, because how dare they call out his no new wars hypocrisy. And at the same time, Fox itself is starting to show cracks, with more guests acknowledging that war objectives weren't met. And they mentioned this live on air. I mean, this is supposed to be his most supportive platform. And even there, the narrative is slipping.
Interesting, because Trey's right. You know, the markets are way up. You had oil prices that were rapidly dropping today, Leslie Marshall. But, you know, you listen to Democrats. I was listening to several today who are still kind of harping on gas prices. I look out the back door. I know gas prices were actually higher 3 years ago than they are to now. Is it a good battle with the way things are going? Is this a good battle for the Democrats to pick, even as late as today?
Yes, because we have to look at the big picture. And the big picture is we're just a few days into it. And if you talk to economists throughout the world, they say, look, we're really hurting Iran's economy, but this is going to start not just to hurt U.S. economy, but our allies' economy. And our allies are not very happy about that. Speaking of the American economy, U.S. energy prices, if this remains in effect, this blockade, it is going to hurt us in the long run. And then we just have to look at, a lot of people are saying we have 168 schoolgirls that died, 13 military, and God knows how many civilians in various countries since this started. For what? To have a Strait open that was open before all this started. We don't have an off-ramp on this. And Iran is saying, I know we can't trust them, I agree with Trey on that, but they're saying, look, we don't have all these points agreed to, and we're not giving up for any check with billions of the uranium that the United States claims.
So they try and talk about, like Buddy that was talking before her, talking about the stock market, talking about what gas is per barrel and stuff like that. But I mean, Pete Buttigieg said it clearly the other day, like inflation is up. So you said you were going to bring it down. It's gone up. So we don't, like you talking about the stock market and talking about gas prices from 4 years ago being higher. Like, guess what? Trump has been in office for a year and a half almost, and prices are up, period. And yeah, it's mainly because of this war. So
that is going to occur, or the nuclear dust.
Yeah, back to kind of.
So what does Trump do? He continues to then attack other people, like the Pope. Man, if you thought Republicans couldn't get any more hypocritical, they are now the ones out here saying that we need to keep religion out of politics. The same people running on, yeah, we need the 10 Commandments back in the schools. Honestly, it's hilarious.
Any reaction to Donald Trump's comments on the Pope over the weekend?
I probably say the Pope needs to keep his business into leading his flock, so to speak, leading the church, and probably stay out of the political arena. He doesn't need to be getting involved in the political arena. Go lead your church, but stay out of the politics.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Right? We didn't elect the Pope to be the president or be the anything else. So just keep his nose in the church's business and stay out of the political arena.
But what if he sees his role as sort of leading his flock away?
No, lead his flock. Well, let's focus on just behavior to and everything else. Just focus on your flock. And Donald Trump is our president. It's not the Pope. I didn't elect the Pope to be president.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman.
I think that's a totally reasonable thing. It isn't particularly newsworthy.
Do you think that when the president says it's hurting him very badly, catering to the radical left, it's hurting the Catholic?
Everything the president truths and says on social media is newsworthy. Like JD is the spin, right? Like I said, the spin. Like, yeah, no, this isn't newsworthy. Yeah, he talks some shit to the Pope. Who cares? Let's talk about the war. The Epstein files, I guess. Like, yeah, like, whatever. This guy is a clown.
Catholic Church, do you agree with the president there?
Well, look, I think the president has the prerogative to set American foreign policy. He's got the prerogative to set American immigration policy. He has to look out for the interests of the United States of America. And that inevitably means that when the Vatican comments on issues of public policy, sometimes there's going to be agreement, of course, and sometimes there's going to be disagreement. I think that's a reasonable thing, Brett. I don't think that it's particularly newsworthy, but I certainly think that in some cases it would be best for the Vatican to stick to matters of morality, to stick to matters of what's going on in the Catholic Church, and let the President of the United States stick to dictating American public policy. But when they're in conflict, they're in conflict.
Put the blinders back on. Like, why are you commenting on the situation of the world and your parishioners? Like, that's what they call, right? I'm not religious or Catholic. But yeah, don't pay attention to the things that affect all the people, that come to your services, your masks, things of that nature. Yeah. Don't don't speak about any of that stuff. What are you doing?
Don't worry about it too much, Brett. I think it's a natural thing. I'm sure it'll happen in the future, and it's not that big of a deal that it happened in the past.
And this comes after Pope Leo condemned the war, to which Trump responded by calling him weak on crime. Not sure that was part of the job requirement, and horrible for foreign policy, before then posting an AI-generated image of himself as a Christ-like figure that triggered immense backlash across both the Catholic world and other Christians, but many Republicans took issue with it also. Even a cardinal described Trump's response as very distressing.
Why are you fighting with the Pope, and are you worried it's upsetting your
No, I don't. I have to do what's right. The Pope has to understand that. Very simple. I have nothing against the Pope. His brother's MAGA all the way. I like his brother, Louis. I'm not fighting with him. The Pope made a statement. He says Iran can have a nuclear weapon. I say Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
He did not say that.
And if the Pope looked at the 42,000 people that were killed over the last 2 or 3 months as a protester with no weapons, no nothing, I mean, you take a look at that. So I can disagree with the Pope. I have a right to disagree. I have a right to disagree with the Pope.
And it's all happening as this war remains unresolved, right? With objectives really murky on whether or not they were met. Public support is declining rapidly. So what is Trump doing naturally is his response is to attack. He attacks Fox hosts, he attacks religious leadership, and he escalates cultural fights because that's all he knows what to do. It's not random, it's redirection. It's what he does to ensure that we are not talking about the fact that the war ended in a ceasefire, not a victory that he is projecting, that core objectives remain unmet, and all this destruction and death appears to be to reopen a strait that was already open at the beginning of this war.
So we're going to stop this one there. Main takeaway was, him going at Jessica Tarlov. And yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah, going after the Pope and stuff too, which I'm sure a lot of y'all have already been seeing also. Yeah, what do y'all think? Like, is this presidential? Is this what we should expect from our president? Is this what we like our president? I like my president to be boring. I like my president to be doing I like my politics to be boring, right? I want you to obviously establish bills that are gonna bills and policies that are going to benefit things that I care about. Obviously, that's the reason why I support certain people, right? But I don't want you to be in Twitter beefs, and I don't want you to be clipped talking some shit in Congress and going back and forth with a witness in a hearing or something like that. No, I just want you to make policies that are going to benefit all Americans. That is it. I want you to make policies that are going to benefit my kids' health, education, help me live longer, help me provide for them. That's all I want you to do. I don't want any of this extra shit. I don't want truth posts. I don't want Twitter beef. I don't want none of that. I watch TV and drama shows, and you know what I'm saying? I'll go stream me some shit on Netflix for that. I don't need that in my politics. But that's it for me. If y'all learned something in this video, make sure and share it with your people. Keep the information flowing. Keep the conversation going. And until next time, I'll holla at you.
I don't think you wanna be my enemy. I pop out, they go wild, so celebrity. Too busy winning, I forgot that I got friends.